Welcome back to another episode of the I'm Not a Hater podcast, featuring your favorite not hater, Mr. Brown. This week we're talking about some issues for the week of 10/20. Um, Hope everybody's enjoying their wonderful Sunday. Those who are getting ready to go back to work on Monday, hope you're not dreading it, but take it one day at a time. Um, but jumping right in like I normally do, thank y'all for all the support that y'all been giving. Hopefully, you guys can continue, keep it up. And I appreciate every bit of it, just so you know. Um, but to get started, right? So the US has given a warning to Israel about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. The U.S. has given Israel 30 days to respond, to get it together. They haven't said what kind of consequences they're going to give out, but I had like a couple questions about this whole thing, right? So how come the U.S. is the authority on everything that goes on in the world? And how come we're always like the leading country helping people out? Anybody have any answers? Like, why do we get that kind of help from other countries? I mean, we offer assistance to everybody, but do we ever get it back from anybody? Because there'd be countries ready to go to war with us, and I don't never really hear, except for I think England when they had Prime Minister Tony Blair. I think he was the only person who was like, you know, down to help us at that point. But it's kind of like, why is the U.S. always the leading nation to help people out? Like, and how come that's not reciprocated to us from other countries? It's just strange. Like we butt in on everything going on in the world, but yet we don't always get the help back from the world. I was just wondering about that. Hey, it's a thing that I was thinking about. I'm just bringing it to your attention. Hopefully, y'all probably thinking about that too. Like, why are we always getting involved, sending trillions and trillions of dollars to these other countries and stuff? And you seen somebody send us $1 trillion yet for for military defense? Nope. You seen somebody offer to come through and help us out? North Korea had all kind of nukes and everything pointed at us. You think people would be jumping up to help us? Not quite. I'm just wondering about that, man. It's just on my mind. It's an issue I've been thinking about. All right. Next up, the election is coming down to the crucial time. You got elections all over the place. The Senate, Senate races, Congress races, I should say. But the big election is for the president, of course. And again, I keep telling y'all from the beginning, I'm not anything to do with the election. I'm not a political advisor or anything like that. This isn't even a political podcast, but it is important that you vote. A person that's on the fence about voting, that vote doesn't count. So I would hope that if you are on the fence, that you come off the fence and make a choice. But again, I'm not telling you who to vote for. Just research your people, the two candidates, and hopefully you make the right decision. I'm not going to tell you who's the right decision because truthfully, if you want to be honest, I don't even know who the right decision is. I'm taking it day by day. But Kamala Harris and the black men, this is a big topic I've been hearing about for a while. She's going to have a rough time convincing black men to vote for her. Trust her, by the way, right? Because of her previous job. She convicted a lot of African American men, sent them to jail for marijuana crimes. I've heard from a few black men that she doesn't speak for herself or have a thought of her own. So, she's like a puppet almost, in their opinion, right? I'm just speaking from what I've heard from them. I'm not saying that these thoughts are mine, but I'm just saying they feel as though she's a puppet. She hasn't come out with a genuine thought of her own yet. And, unlike Trump, right? He just says whatever's on his mind at the time. And some people like that. Like, he's a straight shooter. He gonna tell you what he thinking right at that moment, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. And people like that. I know that she has a carefully crafted, plan with points and things like that, but from most black men, what I've heard is that they're not completely sold on her. And that's tough leading up into the election as she identifies herself as a black woman. You would want to have the whole entire race behind you, but because they're skeptical, again, from her past job, and she was, prosecuting men of color at a high rate, um, they're not really feeling her becoming the president. And, you know, one can't help but understand where they're coming from. I'm a black male. Um, I'm doing my research though, so I kind of have a different viewpoint. But I hope she can, get the black men on her side and, get them to vote. Um, a black man talking to another black man about the election only goes so far. So hopefully she can, get it together with the election coming up soon. Just my opinion. Now, a huge issue that people probably aren't paying attention to. Donald Trump. If he gets elected, the Department of Education is closing. He said it the other day. I saw the clip. This could be a disaster if it happens, okay? He's going to give individual states the power to run their educational systems. Now, the problem with this is it's going to continue the separation of the have and the have-nots. So, people in the public school system, you're not going to get the funding that you normally get. People in the private school sector, you'll probably still be okay because your funding comes from different sources at times. But those students of color, mainly in the urban setting, are going to fall behind fall even further behind, than they normally are, because they won't have the funding coming in to get the supplies and things necessary for them to even have a chance to keep up. If you are an educational person like myself, this would also make you nervous, because this could mean, with the Department of Education closing, jobs could be in jeopardy. Jobs could be cut. And it's just going to be a complete mess, complete disarray if it happens. We don't want this to happen, because we want to be able to continue to teach our kids and give our kids in our communities of the people of color, mainly, to give them a fair chance at getting a good education and making something out themselves in the future. I've seen people say, like, good, it should close. People should go to trade schools. People should do X, Y, and Z. And listen, I'm all for people exploring other options outside the normal traditional ways of school. I do not believe, and this is my thoughts, I do not believe every kid is prepared or made for college. I do believe that there are some children that after high school will go to trade schools. There are some children that will, after high school, go to get jobs. Everybody is going to take a different path in life. You're not going to have, out of a class of, let's say, 200 to 300 students, all 200 to 300 of them go to college. You're going to have some children that go off into the military. You're going to have some, like I said before, get jobs. You're going to have some that go to college. You're going to have some that go to trade schools. But whatever they do, allow the Department of Education to fund those opportunities. If you close that, you're effectively shutting down the source that is helping keep these community schools, these urban schools alive. You cannot have that happen if you want these children to be functional in a society. If you shut it down, they will not be ready for the world. I'm going to say that again. If you shut it down, they won't be ready for the world. They need their education from the beginning all the way up through the high school, the basic skills as we call them, to get out into the world. And I'll just leave it at that. Again, like I said, for this election, you have to do your research, make the right choice on your own, whatever choice that is, you choose. Nobody can make it for you. And then when the election day comes, November 5th, you vote loud and proud, and whatever happens, it's going to happen. I guess you could say my final topic, or my last topic, is a little different along the lines. Just want to speak on a few minutes, giving people their flowers while they can still smell them. We have a bad habit in the world today of not giving people, the love and admiration that we have for them while they can still hear and see it. We often wait until people have passed on or are passing away to give them the respect and love that they should have gotten from us from the beginning. I see it daily, right? You see people, saying rest in peace, and they leave these long messages about how, they love this person or that person. And, you know, I got challenged by a thought today, like, where is all of that when they're alive? Are you even calling or texting these people while they're alive to see how they're doing, or just give them the flowers that you want to give them at that point? Why do we wait until people die, to tell them how we really feel? And with that, I challenge you, if you are a person like me who gets caught up in a lot of things and you don't often take the time to just say to even your close family, like, how you feel about them, I challenge you, and I'm talking to myself as well. I challenge you to tell your family, tell your friends, whoever, close people, whoever it is, tell them how you feel about them, why they still can breathe and take it in, and maybe even reciprocate the feeling. Don't wait until people pass away to tell them how you really feel about them. Make sure they hear it on earth. With that being said, I'm gonna slide off. Once again, this is Not Hater Podcast, issues for the week of 10/20. No long form episode this Wednesday, so this will be the only episode for the week. The long form episodes will be back October 30th. Got some more surprises coming, some more interviews with some important people doing some great things out there in the world. So we're going to get to those soon too. Once again, like I said, I just hope that, everybody is paying attention to what's going on in the world. This is just my little piece of what I see going on and just spreading it to you guys. And hopefully you guys are listening and paying attention. So with that being said, again, I'm out. Peace and love. I appreciate you guys tuning in to the podcast. Peace and love.